And we're going to look, though, at the second place team in the Rugby Championship this year, which, despite their #1 status in the world, was not the Springboks. It was Dave Rennie's high-flying Wallabies.
It was. Wallabies finishing with aplomb, finishing in serious style. Like four, as we were highlighting before, 4 on the bounce for the first time ever in their history in the Rugby Championship. Very impressive. 4 on the bounce is a very tough thing to do in this tournament in any given year, regardless of circumstance. That's very, very impressive. It included 2 back-to-back wins over the Springboks, including a bonus point one, which is unheard of. Up till that point, no one was scoring more than 1 or 2 tries against them. They run in 4. They married some of the youth that they were fostering. Like, when you think Lolosio got so much, grew so much during that French series before any of this happened, and then the return of Quaid, and then the return from injury of James O'Connor. Suddenly they've arrived to a very healthy state.
They became clinical. Like, they became clinical and smart. Those were those were the 2 things that they were lacking in certainly that Bledisloe series to start off the season.
Even parts of that France series.
They were excellent in moments, and they had all kinds of talent. And Michael Hooper was playing out of his skin as he has done all season long.
Still was, what a player.
But even guys like Phillip and Swain coming into the squad were wonderfully impactful.
And back in the picture.
You can see that they're very good players. And even Paisami, who wasn't in this squad, like, he was struggling a little bit, but you could see that he was a good player. And they just, like, it was kind of last pass syndrome again, and you could see they threw those terrible picks. I think it was Tamua and Lolosio, and who was the other one? Was it Paisami as well? So there you go. All of whom are gone. And they added a bit more spark and a bit more quality, let's be real, to that middle third of the pitch.
Truth.
And all of a sudden they became way more clinical. It really did start in that Springbok game, the very beginning of it, when just Karevi, little step on Faf, and away he goes through the gap. And this time, where they've been making those little breaks for so long and not sticking the last pass, he throws a beautiful ball off his left straight to Kellaway, who's in. And then that they really, over the course of the last 4 games, they have maintained that ability. And then they've added set piece moves on top of that. But the key differential is they become a little bit more All Black. Once they break the line, they find the right pass. Their passes are sticking. They're playing smarter footy. And Quaid Cooper looks outstanding there. He was sitting, like, in those Bok games, he was hidden very well. He wasn't taking many contacts, but he was playing quarterback. He was running the offense and doing it really, really well, as place kicking like a diamond. And then it helps him so much to have a guy like Karevi on his outside to just do all of that work.
Like, if there's pressure, you can give it to Karevi. He'll take the contact and likely win it, and you can go again. It was much better. There was a little more frenetic was what they were doing when it was a combination of Paisami and Tamua in and out. And like, we've been vocal about, like, I don't think Tamua is the answer for them. I think their stocks at centre are, to be honest, too good for that.
You're right. Simone hasn't had any minutes.
He's awesome too. So like, and Pataya was getting looks in on the wing, but he's an awesome option as well. Paisami Pataya was a very good partnership last year that they haven't gone back to yet either. I don't think Tamua does it for them. I think what they ask of him to do, he kind of
it's being done better right now by Quaid. That's kind of the kind of player that Tamua wants to be. And he was there kind of in theory to help out a young 10, but in actuality, like, his skill set in terms of the distribution wasn't there enough, and he ended up making similar mistakes, even though they probably came from a different mindset of him being a veteran. But like, he was dropping it on the toe too much. He was throwing speculative passes that he couldn't really complete. Whereas Quaid Cooper, everything since he's come in has been so much more clean. And it's no coincidence it's dovetailed with the inclusion of Karevi as well. It's just such an explosive difference maker.
Some of the guys they've put faith in over the last couple of seasons who've come good. Like, Valentini was awesome, and again he was awesome at the weekend. He's come in without a hitch, no injury, but he's putting himself about. Like, that scything break for one of the Kellaway scores last week was awesome
and
from him.
Performances against the Box as well, where he was just winning contacts against that team,
which is mighty impressive to pair, as you say, dovetail with the fact that Hooper just never gets tired and has a teleportation device in his pocket. That's just a real hack. That's talk about the All Blacks with their cheat code rugby. But
he's got the Saved by the Bell power. Hooper. He just goes little time off and runs over to the other side of the pitch. Time on. Wow. Where did he come from?
It seems that way watching him. He's very, very impressive in how much ground he covers. But even like the rotation of Rodda with Phillip and Swain, they arrived on the right thing. Salakai Loto's fallen down the pecking order, who I was a little suspicious of. I think he'll
be back though. Yeah, he's not one who's for the scrap pile.
But he's not. But then there's rumours of guys like Skelton coming into bolster, and like suddenly you're looking at, whoa, riches where there used to be an absolute desert in the loch.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if this team, if they can stay healthy and like, listen, the skill set of Lolosio, he's not in the squad for this November, but nevertheless,
he's 20 odd years old.
Yeah, they will. He should be in the squad, feeding off Cooper and JOC as often as possible.
He's doing his apprenticeship right now under two great players. So
correct. But I mean, in the short term, at least, if those guys Cooper and JOC can stay healthy and they can keep playing this smart football. They're already so explosive on offense. They have first of all, they have great set moves. Dave Rennie's a really smart coach, and he just gets excited by offense and by set plays, and you started to see them, and we'll see more of them, especially against the Northern Hemisphere defenses, who can be caught a little on first phase at times, as they showed against France.
Sure.
And in the Six Nations there were loads of first phase tries. True. That would be something that they'll definitely feast on. And if they can add a skeleton to the right-hand side of that scrum, you could be looking at a Tupou skeleton right-hand side. All of a sudden, it's a point of difference.
All of a sudden, toe with a box.
Anyone
give them a mix.
They'll take on anyone if they have that right-hand side of the scrum. They'll explode.
Yeah. And Bell on the other side of the scrum this season has been great. Slipper, fair play to him, has done great minutes, but Bell, like what you were saying about George Bauer for the All Blacks, I think Bell has been the guy this season. He really has, and he's been very impressive either off the bench or starting. Very impressive technical scrummager. Also, great ball carrier in the loose. Like, he has some swivel on him for a prop. I've said it before, but he's very, very elusive for a front row unit, and it's just very useful for the style of games they want to play.
They have all kinds of talent. They're looking at as healthy a place as they've been for many years. I mean, I would almost
probably going back close to the turn of the century.
I would almost I was going to say I would almost include that World Cup final run. It was so anomalous, that World Cup final run, in many ways.
The background to that was all like that was Cheika's opus with them, and he's like, fair play. I still think Cheika's one of a great coach for them, because I think it was a ragtag group that he got together, and it involved grabbing Giddo and grabbing Drew Mitchell in panic and just saying, like, look, we need these guys, and it all came right. They ended up dumping England out in their own group and making a run, and you can just see momentum carries in those tournaments. But like, going into that, they were very firmly the third best, flirting with the fourth best team in Rugby Championship.
Definitely
didn't
have as good a forward pack as this one.
No,
this forward pack is awesome, and if they can still keep their clinicality going on offense and keep adding to this forward pack and giving more minutes and more experience, and maybe chucking a skeleton in on top of all that, they could be very, very, very quickly emerging, if they haven't already, as one of the very top sides in the world, but challenging and pushing for that first side in the world. And I think that the challenge for them, I think for the Wallabies more perhaps than the Springboks or the All Blacks, I think this tour is important as a momentum maintainer. They've got Japan, then they've got the whole island of Britain, they've got Scotland, Wales.
Yeah, they're going to try and do a triple crown themselves from our point of view.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's obviously, you know,
tough games
to finally be leaving home, having played so many games at home in a row, and then go off. And first of all, Japan is like that's not an easy game itself.
No.
But then obviously those 3 in 3 weeks in hostile atmospheres against very good teams. And listen, we've been talking a lot about Southern Hemisphere rugby. It's important to remember that 5 of the 6 nations are very good teams, and to go away from home and play them, it's going to be a real test. And if they go 1-2 or 0-3 in those games, that will sap the momentum out of things a little bit. If they can go 2-1 or 3-0, that'll be great.
If they take a winning record back down south, they'll be buzzing over the spring down there, but over Christmas break, that'd be massive for them. And then heading into next season, I think the focus and the clear point of progression for them is to make a game of these Bledisloe games. I mean, I think there's no doubt they showed enough in those Springbok games, and then the Springboks showed enough in the subsequent All Black games, that there shouldn't be there isn't a real gulf in class to that extent right now between the Wallabies and the All Blacks, and so it's a mindset problem that they have to solve. Although granted, it was inconvenient for them to open the tournament with that, with an injured JOC and Quaid not in the mix yet, and Revy not in the team.
They were young and naive in those games, and they learned a lot in them, and they came out of them in great health. But now next year they really just
want to get something off.
Yeah, this young team can't have no good memories to draw from against the All Blacks heading into a World Cup year. They have to be game to the fight, and I think they are good enough to take the fight to the All Blacks, and that will be the tough but true test of them.
But in general, looking back on 2021 so far, I mean, outright second, 4 in a row for the first time, 2 wins against the Springboks, including 4 tries, a win against France before the Rugby Championship as well, series win against an exciting young team. I mean, the trends are good for these Wallabies, and like Dave Rennie has been doing a stellar job in terms of bleeding talent in. You guys like McMahon got a cap last week. He'd been out since 2017.
He could be a big factor coming into this spring tour.
Exactly. He's minding his assets. He's recognising what weapons he has, and he's building a very good team. So yeah, the Wallabies are on the up right now. Yeah,
and certainly Dave Rennie, totally the man to take them on. He's been great.
Yeah. Not even a whisper of replacing him. No, not at all. Thank you very much for tuning into the Overlap Rugby podcast. If you're new here, please do like and subscribe and ring the bell as well so you'll be notified when we upload. But mainly drop a comment down below as well. We love hearing your thoughts on the rugby. Cheers.